Turning right. Hey, this is Brian Andrews, News Chopper 4. Welcome to our stream. We're in North Hollywood, and this is LAPD is in pursuit of what they believe is a man with a gun. This gray, looks like a Honda Civic or something like that, has been running around, mostly on the streets, a little bit on the freeway. He's gotten on and off the freeway a little bit, but he's mostly been on the streets right now. But he's driving pretty erratically. I'll throw the speeds up here. So we're clearly on service streets, and right now we're going about 48, 50 miles an hour. As you can see, there's a airship overhead, LAPD airship overhead, and there's a number of vehicles below him. We do have to work with Burbank Airport, as we're kind of near their airspace right now. But you can see there's about four police vehicles behind him, and an airship overhead has got him lit up with that light. Go for chopper.
Не знаю, слышали ли вы про платформу, где американцы зарабатывают по $20 тысяч в месяц. Называется...
Wanted DUI, copy that. I'm just getting an update. Says what the want right now is a want for a DUI. We are unable to confirm if he had a weapon or not, but the original want that initiated this whole pursuit was DUI. So they suspected him of driving under the influence, decided to try and light him up, and all right, he's turning right, and he did not yield to those officers. It started about 6:40 this afternoon in the North Hollywood area. So this is LAPD on this pursuit. Ooh, oncoming lanes, through a red light. There's that LAPD airship overhead. So this guy is he's driving erratically. You know, he just blew through that light. He drove on the wrong side of the road. Speeds are high for surface streets. If you're familiar with the valley, all right, looks like he's getting on the 170 right there. So there we go. We're going to get onto the freeway. We're going northbound 170 here in the valley, kind of the east side of the valley, depending on if you qualify this area as a valley or not. But all right, now we're on the freeway. There's that LAPD airship, keeping an eye on the situation here. Got that night sun. Hey, I'm with you, Booth. All right, 35 out. All right, so we're now following the suspect on the freeway. LAPD in pursuit. Airship overhead. Northbound 170. 20 out, copy that. Five seconds. Can you get off to one side or the other for me, Jim? Hot picks. Hey, yeah, so right now this is a pursuit. It started about 6:40 in the evening. So LAPD initiated that pursuit, suspecting this person of DUI. The person did not pull over, and they fled. So they've been on the freeway. He's driving pretty erratically now here on the freeway. You can see him driving there on the shoulder. There's a little bit of traffic here. Right now he's on the 170 northbound, kind of in the Sun Valley area. But he's been driving on the freeway, off the freeway, rather erratically. Decently high speeds. We were seeing about 50 miles an hour on the streets, and blowing through red lights, driving on the wrong side of the road. So he's looking to get away. This person is definitely making bad choices, making bad decisions, and putting civilians at risk as he drives erratically. It's dark. He's not going to be able to see a pedestrian very well. People aren't going to be expecting someone to be coming up so quickly. All right, looks like he's going to take the transition road to the 5 north. here on the 170 if he stays in this far left lane, which it looks like he's not going to do. He's going to move over. So he's going to move over. It looks like he's going to take that Sheldon exit off of the 170, and he's going to be back on the streets. Yeah, he's making some daring moves, cutting across all those lanes. There's a bit of traffic, so that it wasn't moving, at 70 miles an hour. Here, I'll throw the speedometer up so we can kind of see how fast he's going. So he's now on the streets. I believe this is Sharp Avenue in Los Angeles, kind of in the East Valley area, Sun Valley area. This is Sharp Avenue in Los Angeles, kind of in the East Valley area, Sun Valley area. So he's traveling about 60 miles an hour. It's too fast for the streets. This is definitely a dangerous situation.
All right,
for driving on the streets, especially at night. He's got his lights on.
All right, hello guys. The pursuit is underway. It happened
off,
2 months ago. It was on October 24th, 2025.
If pedestrians can't see that person coming, you
taking
can
place
see
right
that
now
night sun from
in
the LAPD airship that is overhead.
area
So
that
this is
started
LAPD
as a possibly DUI suspect that's leading police on our case. And I'm taking notes I'm taking notes of that police chase that's going underway.
Going on, they're stopping. All right, so he's just turned. He's going
underway.
Now.
That area.
He's east
That
on
there that the LAPD has been chasing for a little over a while. The pursuit. There's anyone else inside the car
we're not
with him?
sure right now. All I know is
They're
that it
not
was
sure right
one
now.
person in the vehicle.
All they know is there's one person in that vehicle. He's wanted for that DUI.
Not sure if there's anybody else.
I'm not sure if there's anybody else in that vehicle right now.
Do we have any more particulars
only one person
about
they're
the
assuming.
attempt to pull him
They
over,
have
where
any
that
more
happened,
particulars that they attempted
what
to pull him
transpired
over,
there?
or what that transpired there, because
I don't have that right
he's
now.
driving at about 50 miles an hour.
No, so
The suspect was going straight on that boulevard, turning right at normal speed. The man with a gun, and running around driving erratically a little
bit.
bit.
It doesn't seem like he knows where he's going.
LAPD airship and the news
but what we do see a lot of these
helicopters
pursuits is
overhead,
people stick
one
to
on
one
Circus Street
area
at
a lot
about
of the time. Sometimes
50 miles an hour.
they aren't necessarily going somewhere, but they're
and
driving
on
places that they're
neighborhoods while
familiar
the news
with, and they
helicopters
kind of
working
stay
with the
in areas
urban
they're familiar with.
airspace.
So they drive in
Our
circles
pursuit
in
started
areas they're familiar with.
6:45
That could be the
p.m.
case
that
here.
evening.
They've
Later that
definitely
evening.
been
But
quite
sometimes they're
erratic,
familiar
driving lots of
spaces
turns
that
that
are
don't
like
seem to
limited.
make
A lot of
sense.
terms
There's
that
that
don't seem to
LAPD
make
airship
sense.
got his
There's
night sun
that police
illuminating
airship. They
things.
got the night sun illuminating things.
Brian, if you
And
would give us an idea of
sometimes it's you don't know
what
what's coming
he's
up.
driving through right now. It's sort of
He's
hard to
driving
tell.
through right now.
Is this a residential area?
This is a
Is he still
residential
on
area.
Sharp Street? He just turned back
still on
onto
a
it?
Sharp Street. He turned back
So right
onto
now, I believe he's on
Sharp
Peoria
Avenue.
Street in a Sun
Peoria
Valley area.
Street.
He's in a residential area. Here, I'll
He's
zoom
in a
out a little bit,
residential
kind of give you
area.
guys a better
Because
idea of
the
where
news
he's at.
helicopter is
This is a
assuming,
residential area. There's a
this is
school.
a
He's just passing
residential area.
what
This
looks
is
like
a
an
school
elementary
zone.
school. He's got
Looks
4
like
units
an elementary
behind
school.
him.
4
So
units behind that
this is
suspect.
wide streets. Not a lot of
And
people
this is a
out because
wide
it's a
street.
neighborhood.
Not a lot of people out.
They're gonna,
And if there was a lot of people out, he would run into so many people. They're coming up
so he just drove in a
onto a
big circle
boulevard.
just now, and he's
And
got
now
back to where
doing
he
a
was
big,
just
big
moments
circle.
ago.
He was
There
just like he was doing that
yeah,
just
he's
moments
driving a little
ago.
bit
He
erratically
was
there.
driving a little bit erratically at about 50
Coming up
miles
to
an hour.
a red light and
Coming
some
up to a
traffic.
red
Looks
light.
like he's going
Traffic
to.
looks like he's
So
going
this is the intersection we were at moments
this is
ago
the
where he turned
intersection
left,
where
and
they
now he's
were
coming
at moments
back
ago.
the
Where he
opposite
was
direction as he
coming back to
crosses
the
through
opposite
that
direction as he crosses
intersection.
through that
They had a
intersection.
red light.
They had a red light.
You know, it's
And,
interesting to watch the
it's
black
interesting
and
to
whites.
watch
You say those are
the black and white
LAPD
saying those are
directly
LAPD
behind him. They
directly
seem to be
behind
staying
him.
really
They seem
tight
to be
on him
staying
throughout
really
all of
tight
this.
on him.
They
Throughout
are.
all
They
of
are
this.
staying relatively tight
They are
on
staying
him
relatively tight
during
on
this
him.
pursuit. Sometimes with a lot of the
During
crazy
this
driving,
pursuit.
they will back
A lot of
off. All
crazy
right, now he's
driving.
getting back on the
No,
170,
they'll
but he's
back
going to be
off.
going
They'll just
southbound, I'm
continue to
pretty
chase.
sure here.
No,
So
there will
he's
be
getting
so many
back onto
units
the freeway.
chasing.
There's
There
that
was
on-ramp.
3
He's going to end up on the
suspects, 5
170
suspects
going
were
south. We
captured.
were just moments ago on the 170 going
They would
north.
chase that
So there's a
stolen
bit of
vehicle
traffic right
throughout
now.
the
You know, it's
freeway
kind of
into
we're
Circus
kind of
Street,
post
going
rush
past
hour,
the school
but the
building.
freeways in
No,
LA are never
it's kind
empty,
of rush
right? So
hour.
there's
Just
going to be traffic that
a
he's
few
going to have
minutes
to deal
ago,
with,
he was
and
on the
those
170
LAPD units
southbound.
are also going to do their best to deal with
Police
that
units
traffic
are
as
going
well.
to do their
Hopefully the
best to deal
drivers are
with the
paying
traffic as
attention. They
well.
can see those
Not only
LAPD units
yourself, and
coming
if you're
with
putting
their bright
everybody
lights. They
else
can see the
if
night sun,
someone's putting
and
everybody else in
hopefully they'll
danger
get out
or
of the way.
putting
But here, there you can see he's going above
somebody
80
putting
miles an hour right now.
themselves in danger,
Almost
they
90
could
miles
get
an hour.
hurt.
So that's
Or
pretty dangerous.
if you don't know what's coming, the
Extremely
driver's
dangerous
going
when you
faster,
consider
about
the want on
102
this
miles an
initially
hour.
was driving under
That
the
driver is about
influence.
80
Now, as
miles
he
an hour,
comes
almost
up
90 miles an hour.
just a few more miles, he's got a
Just a
couple
few
of
more miles.
options.
Using
He
that
can
turn
either
signal,
take the
91 miles an hour,
134
he can
and head
either take the
east, or
134,
the
head
101
east,
and head
or
north,
101.
correct?
That's
And head
correct.
north.
Yeah, he's going to
That's
have
correct.
options here soon.
100%
And then
correct. He will
he
have
can get on the
options
101.
too.
He can
could
get on the
101
134.
freeway, not the
He's going to have
405
decisions
freeway,
about where
because
he
there's
wants
going
to
to be a
go. It'll be
lot of
interesting to see
LAX
if
airspace
he
to
stays
deal
in the
with.
area or if he does
He could take
indeed
the 101
kind of
freeway
leave
and the
this area
134
where he's
freeway.
kind of been,
The far,
since about
wouldn't
6:40.
let the
So
news,
for the last
won't let the news
20-ish minutes, he's kind of
go
been in this
through.
North Hollywood
They will
area.
not let that thing
This is
go
the farthest
through.
he's
They'll
straight,
have to
but
turn
he's
back and
headed
go
back.
back to that
He's
news
headed back
station.
south now. So he's headed back
He's
to
headed
kind of
back
where this
south now.
pursuit began.
He's headed back
We're
to
dealing
kind
with
of
a little
where
bit
this
of traffic
pursuit
up here
began.
from
They're
Burbank
dealing with
Airport because it's kind of we're
they're
right near
dealing
their
with a little bit of
airspace.
traffic up there
So our
because of
shot's
that
going to get a little
airport
bit long here, but
airspace.
we're going to keep an eye on this.
They're going to keep an eye on this. The news
He's got
helicopters are
options.
going
There's
to
those
keep an
LAPD.
eye on
They're
this.
staying tight.
The police
They're
helicopters
staying
are keeping an eye
close
on
to this
this.
guy. We've
They're
seen in the
staying close
past.
to this guy.
Sometimes
They've
LAPD will
seen
let
in the
things
past.
go, but in my
Sometimes
experience, in the
LAPD will
past
let
few
things
months, LAPD
go.
has been rather
But in
aggressive
Bill's
in stopping
experience,
pursuits
in the
and
past few
getting those
months, they were a
drivers.
little bit
We've
aggressive
seen
with
LAPD do
those
this on the
dangerous
freeway
suspects. Like
during
they will do a
pursuits,
pit
pulling
maneuver.
right up next
He was on the
to
freeway
their
during pursuit.
suspect that
They
they're
were pulling
pursuing.
right up to that next
And
suspect.
I'm not
Next
sure what they're
suspect.
doing. If they're looking inside the
And
car,
what
they're
they're
getting an
doing, they're
idea of
looking
what's
inside
going
the
on.
vehicle.
But we've seen them pull up
And in
right
all
next
other
to
police
those
agencies,
vehicles,
they
and
would
they're
start
staying real
chasing that
tight on
vehicle
this.
like,
All right, we've
well,
got
if
the green
there
light
was
to
a
cross the
robbery
Burbank airspace, so we're
police
going to get a little
pursuit,
bit closer
100
here for
miles
you
an
now.
hour, and
Okay.
sometimes you can't
But as you
hit
can
the
see,
brakes.
Is
Sometimes
he
you
still on the
could
170?
not hit the brakes.
yes, he
You
is
could
still on the
react
170
fast
right
enough.
now. We're
It
passing
will hit a
Victory
guardrail
Boulevard.
or an object or a car. They're
Yeah.
passing that
So it's decision
victory
time
there. He's still at
just ahead
170
for him.
freeway.
As I
Now,
said, either the 101,
as you see, the
which
news
would be, I
helicopters are
believe, if
dealing
he
with
commits,
an
would be on the
airspace.
right side of the freeway, and the
They're
134 would
mentioned on the
take
right
him
side
more
of
to
the
the
freeway.
left.
He would be
He
committed to the
just passed
134
Burbank
and
Boulevard,
taking the north.
so real soon he's going to have those options available to him to change
He's going to have
freeways.
those options available.
And we'll
now that
see
the
where he
number
goes.
is
We're
gone.
going to stay with him.
We're going to see where it goes, where they stay with him.
Once again, if you're
We
just now
they have
joining
to
us,
make
what we
sure
have
that
right here is
those
a police
computers don't
chase
get
that's going on
involved,
in
and
the
they have
San
to make
Fernando
sure
Valley.
that they don't
Most
try
of
to
it
be a
has been
hero.
on
Sometimes
surface
they
streets
do
in
a
the North
lot of
Hollywood
heroes
area,
in that
but as you can see,
situation.
he's on the
It's only a
170
skit
right now.
because
And
he's
Brian,
on
the
the
original
170
want
freeway.
on this was
The original want on this
driving
was
under the
driving
influence,
under
possibly
the
drunk driver here.
possibly.
Do we know any other
Reportedly
circumstances?
drunk.
Did they
It's
try to pull
suspect.
him over? Where did it
Any
happen?
circumstances they try to pull him over.
Unfortunately, I'm
That
not
happened.
exactly sure where this
They're
happened.
not
We know it
exactly
did happen
sure what
on the
happened.
streets because
This
this
has
is
been on
LAPD.
freeway for the
If it
last
had been on the
5
freeway,
or
that would
6
have been
minutes.
CHP
It
initiating
was
that.
on the freeway.
But we know that it started in
The
North
news
Hollywood
helicopter
on the
was dealing with
streets
the
somewhere there in North Hollywood.
airspace
You
just
can see
about
this
5
person.
or 6
Oh man,
minutes
looks like they're
ago.
diving
Maybe
into that
5 minutes
off-ramp on
ago.
Riverside.
So
He was on
it happened.
Riverside Drive earlier.
They had to
So
simulate
he's
around
kind of
that
staying in this
airspace
area.
just
He
about
chose
5 minutes ago.
not to
Now
leave
he's
this
getting
North
off the
Hollywood area,
freeway.
not to hop
He
over the
chose
hill
not
and
to
get into
leave that
LA.
north area.
Looks like he's pushing
He's
through that
getting into that
intersection going left.
LA area.
That was a
He's
red
going
light that
through
he
that
just went
left. There was
through.
a red light
There's
that
going to
he
be a
just
little bit
went
more
through.
traffic
There's
here
going to
on
be a
the
little bit
streets.
more
There we go. This is
traffic.
a red light right here. And he's
There's a
going
red light
past it
right
right
here.
through
He's
that
going
pursuit,
past
right
it
through
right through that.
That red light as officers continue to pursue.
Yeah, the red light as officers continue to pursue. And you know,
it's hard to see. Where is he right now? Is he getting back on the freeway, or is he still on Riverside? There's sort of a weird area there
there's
where you
sort
can
of a
take a
weird
number of
area.
different
He's going to go onto the 101
streets. It looks
freeway.
like he's just getting on the freeway.
Yeah, so
Getting
he's
onto that
back on the
101
freeway
freeway,
now. This is
getting
gonna
on,
be
he got off
101, I
170
believe.
just
I
seconds
believe he's
just
going to be getting on the 101
a second
south
ago.
here.
He's going to be on
He
the
did all
101
that just to get
southbound.
right back on the freeway. You saw him driving around
He's going to
erratically.
be on the 101
Oh no,
southbound
I think this is
freeway.
101 north.
This
Yeah, this
takes
is a 101 north.
all
So
the
he's
way
now
to
back on the 101
downtown
north.
LA. He's back on the 101 north side.
And we're going to see how long he stays here.
And they're going to see how long he stays here. Because through that weather, the fog, it's going to be hard and difficult to have the news helicopters and the police helicopters to keep
is wholly
track
different.
because of that fog.
It's the opposite side. You
And if you can't see,
he's
you might
running speeds
have your
well over
helicopter
70
crash,
miles
but
an
I'm
hour.
saying, right,
Once again, this is the
good thing
LAPD in
advice
pursuit of a possible
turn the news
DUI suspect. Do
around
we
if
know if
there's
they've called
fog.
to the CHP,
If
given the
they're
fact
not
they
gonna-
really are and
Then
have
the news
been
helicopter
on
not going to keep up much longer.
freeways for the
We're going to
last
see
10
we're
minutes
going
or
to
so?
see, and
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
be
sure
watching
that
it.
I know
We'll
that
watch it
LAPD
at
is
the
going
end
to
of
be talking with
the
CHP as he gets
video.
on and off the freeway.
And as he gets on and off the freeway,
whatever jurisdiction is pursuing,
jurisdiction
they
is
usually have the
pursuing,
option to hand off that pursuit
they have the
or
option to
stick
hand
with
off.
it.
Sometimes they hand off it
Right
off
now,
the table, and
LAPD
that's
has
out
been
of the
sticking
question.
with this
Just like
pursuit. They have
circumstances of
not handed it off to
negotiating
anyone else, even though
things,
they've
like
gone on the freeway
circumstances.
and off the
Anyone else
freeway
that have
multiple
gone on the
times. So
freeway,
that tells me that LAPD
multiple
is pretty
times
sure they
off
want
the
this
freeway
person.
when the suspect was on
They're
the freeway,
confident that
170 off
they
the
will
freeway,
capture this
170.
person, and
They
they're
will, and they're
staying
confident
in
they will
this
capture the
pursuit,
person. They're
not
going to
handing it
stay
off
in
to
this pursuit. They're
CHP,
not going to discontinue the pursuit.
and they're
They're going to be
gonna
handing it off to
stick
the
with this until they can
JHP.
capture this
They're
guy.
going to stay
Brian, I
stick
can't
with this
tell.
guy
He seems to
until
be
they
putting some
capture
distance
that.
between
This like
himself
and that blue Nissan,
and the
putting
squad
some
cars
distance
behind him. Is
himself
he picking
and the
up
squad
speed,
car
or are they pulling back
picking
just a
up
little
speed
bit?
because
So I
they
think
just
it's a little
pulling
bit of
back a
both. So
little bit.
he's
It's a little bit of
he's
both.
going 90
He's
plus right
going
now. I just saw
90 plus.
96 a moment ago. So at
He
those
was
speeds,
reaching
the officers
96
they're
miles
going
an
to
hour,
back off a little
91
bit. They're
miles
going
an
to need a little
hour
bit more
just
time to
several minutes
react.
ago.
When
They're gonna
if
have a
he
literally
smashes on the
need more
brakes, if
time
he
to
collides
react.
with somebody, they're going to need more
Pull
time to
over, and
react.
if you
Going
see the
those speeds,
suspect
so they're
coming, like, hey,
backing off a little
pull
bit just
over, get
for
out
their
of the
own
way, get out
officer
of the way.
safety standards. But yeah, this is
Like honk your horn
definitely
or
a
pull
high-speed
over. The
pursuit. We're going
suspect
80
is
plus,
going fast.
90
Let the
plus
pursuit
miles an
go
hour
by.
here
Pull
on
over
the
in a straight
101
line.
freeway. Luckily, this
90
traffic is
miles,
not too
90
heavy.
plus miles an
So now
hour.
we're kind of
Traffic
getting
is
into
not
an
too
area that
heavy.
he has not been in
97
yet. We're
miles an
going
hour.
north or west on the 101, depending
And
on
they're north on
where
the
exactly
westbound
you are and how
101
you want to
freeway.
call it. But
I'm gonna
north
let
or
you
west on the
listen to that
101,
as I
headed kind of
take
deeper
notes.
into the San Fernando Valley, and eventually kind of into the, if he stays on this track, the kind of the West Hills area. So we'll see if he decides to just get on the freeway and go, or if he just wants to keep playing around in the valley.
The assumption is because he's in the fast lane there, he would continue on the freeway. But what is interesting about this driver is we've seen him go from that far left lane all the way across to an exit very, very quickly. Now, has he, so he's passed Van Nuys, so the next thing up here would be, and there he is, he's doing exactly what I said he was going to do. So he has an option here, what, the 405, or is he committed still to the 101?
Yeah, so the 405 is going to be in a minute. We're not quite there yet, but yeah, so exactly like you said, he just squeezed in between two cars right there, forcing that car on the right to move over or get hit. But yeah, we've seen him, just because he's in that far left-hand lane doesn't mean that he's going to stay there. We've seen him, dive dramatically across multiple lanes. So yeah, there you go, 405 freeways in about 1 mile. So he's going to make some decisions there. He can stay on the 101. He can get on the 405 north. He can get on the 405 south. There's going to be options there. And the traffic is building. As I'm looking out ahead of me through the windshield of the helicopter, the traffic is building here on the 101 a little bit as we approach the 405, which we know is always busy. That 405-101 interchange, almost always busy. Unless it's the middle of the night, there's always people there. So there you can see, looks like he's staying right. But again, that doesn't mean he's going to stay over there. The traffic on the left is building. Looks like he's staying on the right for right now, which is going to take him onto either Service Streets or the 405 north.
I'm trying to see if he's committed to Sepulveda there or the freeway. What is the typical protocol for LAPD officers at this point? Will they just let him run till he runs out of gas? Again, he's driving very erratically. They can't do a pit maneuver. Spike strips, a possibility here?
Yeah, so it's going to depend on the situations of the road. So there's way too many people, like you said, to do a pit maneuver. That would be a little too chaotic and risk, people getting injured, vehicles getting hit for them doing that. So what they would need is to do a spike strip. Usually they run a break. So they start thinking about where that car is going to be. They'll run a traffic break where the police officers stop the traffic, and they actually put that spike strip out in front of the suspect that's fleeing. That takes a lot of coordinated effort, and it takes a bit of luck as well. Okay, so there you go. He's diving over to the left lane. So you can see traffic is getting heavier. This is getting a little bit more dangerous because there's more people now, and he's driving erratically. Look at that. He's trying to decide, not sure what he wants to do, but I think this is getting more dangerous just because there's a lot more people involved here now. The speeds have slowed down, but we're still, this is still a very dangerous situation. None of these people know. Oh, so he's going to get stuck here. And especially when these people, when they get desperate, when they get backed into something, you never know what's going to happen. But back to LAPD, yeah, spike strips could be an issue. Pit maneuver is not going to be good. Typically, if these drivers get really, really reckless, they'll go into what's called tracking mode. They'll pull the ground units off, and they'll let the helicopter stay above that person. That helicopter has almost no trouble staying with people. They're really good at tracking. That kind of puts the pressure off of that suspect. They usually calm down when they see those ground units being pulled off them, and they don't drive as crazy. That's the whole point of going into tracking mode, is to relieve the pressure, kind of let them ease off and not drive so crazy, and not to put the public in as much danger. This guy, he's driving erratically, but LAPD still has reason to believe they want to stay on this guy. They don't want to go into tracking mode. They want to make sure they get him. So right now, we're going to be sitting through traffic and just kind of waiting to see what happens.
I just noticed the freeway sign there. You're coming up on Havenhurst here, just off the 101. Do we know what kind of car he's driving?
I think this is a Honda. It looks like a sedan or some kind of four-door. It might be a BMW. I'm not sure, but it's some kind of commuter vehicle. There you go, 4 doors. So it's not a high-performance vehicle, so he's probably not going to be able to really get those speeds cranked up. In the 90s is probably about as fast as we'll see out of this vehicle. All right, there he goes, moving to the left again.
And to the best of our knowledge, there's only the driver in the car. We don't know of any other passengers or anything?
Correct. We don't, we have...
Norton Secure VPN is part of Norton 360. Access your favorite apps and website while on the go. Secure your online connection and access what matters most.
All right, so I've just heard from my desk, they're telling us that LAPD is speaking with CHP to get them involved in this pursuit. Perhaps they think that because he's been on the freeway for so long now, that these officers, they're a long ways out of where they typically work.
Sure.
So what happens with this is these LAPD officers are from NoHo, North Hollywood, right? So that's what the area they know. All right, he's getting off. Is he getting off of Havenhurst? Nope. Looks like he's going to stay on the freeway.
Okay.
And so if this suspect does get off the freeway here, these officers are not going to have an advantage because they're not going to know the area. So what they're going to do is, if they expect this to stay on the freeway, they'll get CHP involved, because CHP has so many offices, they can hand it off from one CHP branch to another and stay within their area. And they've got,
I'm sorry, guys. I have to.
Ahead of this vehicle.
I have a few minutes left of that video, so I'm going to catch back up to you in a bit.
That LAPD might not have the ability to do on the freeway.
Part 2 is coming up.
It is amazing to watch the driver here, how he's weaving in and out of the
position here, but this guy's got no problem, maneuvering his way, for an alleged DUI driver, to your point, Juan. He's got no issues, trying to weave in and out of this traffic here.
And we know, or at least we think it's his car, right?
Yeah, no reports of it being stolen, right? And I think that could potentially be the reason why we've seen LAPD stick with this, and why they haven't gone into tracking mode. It makes me think that they potentially know who this person is and have maybe some prior contacts with him, that maybe where the gun portion of this came into play. It would appear that they probably at least know who the registered owner is of the car, because, as I said, it's not been reported stolen.
Would relatives or friends maybe let officers know, hey, he may have a gun?
Certainly, yeah, and we don't know.
Heard of that, right?
Yeah, we don't know the circumstances behind this DUI or the alleged DUI either. If this was somebody that called it in, or what the circumstances might be. But yeah, certainly they may obviously have additional knowledge here. CHP is now asking the airship to now simulcast on the CHP frequency as well, so that CHP can start getting involved in this too. So we'll probably see here soon a swap out, it sounds like, between the LAPD and the CHP.
And pretty dense traffic now. This driver is going fast. I mean, we've seen some pursuits lately that have been more slow speed pursuits on surface streets, etc., or even on freeways, but not really speeding. But this person was going, 60, 70 miles per hour on surface streets, and also going pretty fast on the freeway. But the traffic is so dense right now.
Yeah, it's just really not
a lot of places to go.
You're right, and I think it clears up soon, right?
Yeah, it usually starts to clear up around. He might have hit that car right there. It was really close. Really, really close. So see if we can see any damage on the vehicle there. But that was very, very close to
contact.
Looks
like he sideswiped that one car.
It might have. Did he lose his mirror there? No, I can't. Looks like the mirror's still there. But that was definitely the closest call we've seen. Maybe just a couple of millimeters away there. And this will start to clear up kind of between Balboa and Reseda as we head towards the West Valley, and we're headed, right very close to CHP's West Valley office off of DeSoto Avenue. So they're probably, getting the engines warmed up for this one to get involved. And then again, I just have to wonder where the suspect is headed, if they're just buying time before they find a place they like to get out and run, or if they have something in mind, or on the phone with someone to help them out with this situation, which we have been seeing more so recently. Still hard to say at this point, but this traffic will be clearing up if the suspect sticks with it, and we'll be into the West Valley and kind of headed towards Ventura County if we stick with the 101.
They offered me $3,000 for my minor accident. This Harvard AI calculator showed me.
And now, guys, I can tell you 15L90, which is the North Hollywood Watch Commander, has requested CHP to take over. So the airship,
my
the
storage
LAPD
was
airship
run
is
out,
to coordinate with those CHP officers to get in a position here to take this over.
There was a blue Nissan on the 170 freeway and the I-5 northbound. He would have took
then
two
we heard the
options,
mention of the
and we
possible
saw the
gun.
405 freeway
Now, the
takes
air unit, when
that
requesting
area. This will
CHP,
be complicated for the news
calling this
helicopters
a pursuit of a man with a
to
gun.
follow because of that
So
airspace.
it's
So he
kind of,
decided to be on the
seem pretty
101
confident in
southbound
that
freeway.
weapon portion of it.
They've
So this
initiated the
airship
pursuit.
is
A
requesting
little bit of the
CHP,
traffic on the freeway.
for a man
Just
with a gun.
the
So that's what
airship
they're
was
asking
requesting
CHP to take over for.
CHP.
The Watch Commander
They're
of the
asking
North Hollywood
CHP
Division
to
said,
take
yes,
over the
please have
Watch
CHP take
Commander
over. So now
division.
hopefully we'll see this coordination where CHP will
They're
take
having
over
the
because,
CHP to take over.
we're still
You'll
in
see
the
this
city of LA
coordination
and we've got a
where
while before that,
the
but
CHP
we
will
are
take
starting to
over.
get
They
well
got a
away from
while.
North Hollywood's
Things are
division.
starting
We're,
to get
I
well
think, even the
away.
West Valley
As he
division. We're 2
makes
divisions
around
away
the slower
now
traffic at
from
about
North Hollywood
50,
where
60
this
miles an
started. So
hour,
certainly
why
the
don't they
North Hollywood Watch
do
Commander is going to want to
spike
get their
strips?
people back to North Hollywood, especially if
So they can
CHP
deflate the
takes over.
getting out of the
tires.
area. And
They're going to have CHP.
man with a gun, that
They're
changes
going to out of their area.
everything as to how they
gun
approach
changes everything how they approach.
car, right?
Now
Who's
how about he
following,
would
how
have
many
stayed in
units
his
follow.
one
Right,
place
and that
in
would
the lane, in one place.
LAPD's
They've
got
initiated a little bit
I
of
don't
traffic
say
on the
rigid,
freeway,
pretty good
off the freeway,
policies of if
driving
this
at 50
happens,
miles
and
an hour.
generally that is if a person
Getting
is
off
armed,
the
we don't
freeway,
go into traffic,
going
which
around
is
traffic.
potentially why we
He was
haven't seen
pointing
traffic,
that
especially
car
now if they're kind of
on the
making
right
that the
side,
primary reason they're chasing this
making
person is
some
a potential man with a
decisions.
gun.
Freeway,
That would be why we
134
haven't seen
freeway or
traffic, and that
405
was likely
freeway.
why they haven't
He
let it
did
go
not
yet,
want to take
and now we're
the
trying to hand it
405
off to the
freeway.
CHP.
We're going to cross
And
it
even the
off.
way they confront the suspect,
Staying
right?
on
Spike
the right
strips, getting
now.
out of the
that changes a
car.
Staying
lot.
on the
certainly.
right
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
as you can see,
we've
it
seen
was
this
just
before, and it kind of depends on the officers and the tactics that they want to use. But we have certainly seen before LAPD take a more
couple minutes long
back
ago,
kind of
and
seat
the debris
here
was
if they don't want
flying
to do spikes or pits
over that,
potentially.
flying and
Now
acting
they're
like the
talking about
tires
CHP's
was going to be flat in about
excuse me,
5
CHP
seconds.
unit
So,
is
and they talked
maybe
about the
2
CHP
exits
unit
behind the car trying to
was
catch up. So it sounds like CHP
they're trying to catch up. This pursuit went
Mike,
on
once they do the
for
switch
the last
out, does that mean LAPD just
maybe
hands off from
for
that
about
point?
15 minutes
CHP's policy,
or
CHP's
so.
pursuit policy is it's all theirs
You
or
can see
not
the
at all theirs.
suspects
They don't
speeding at 70
do
miles
the
an hour.
mixed
They
agencies.
don't
we have
do the
some,
mixed
like Orange
agencies.
County will do
Like
mixed. You'll have a bunch of
Orange
different small
County
agencies
will do the
in
mixed.
it. San
A
Bernardino
bunch
will
of
do that
different
too.
small agencies.
But CHP says nope.
And
We want
the
it
highway
all, or we
patrol,
don't
no,
want it
they
at all.
want it all. They don't want it at all. They'll handle everything from the arrest, taking this person to
That
jail,
depends on where it
or in
ends.
police custody.
Sometimes what they'll do is
Two
they'll
options,
have
2 ways.
LAPD, what they call pick up the body.
They'll have the police
the original LAPD division
department
come
cop car
grab
pick
the
it up.
suspect, and
They
they'll
have
handle
the
it.
police
It really
department
kind of depends on
division
what
come
happens
grab
during
the
the pursuit.
suspect.
If
They'll
during the
handle the
pursuit the
booking and the
suspect hits a bunch of
processing.
cars while
During
CHP's got it, or does some
the
other
suspect
alleged
had hit a
crime
bunch of
while
cars.
CHP's chasing it, then CHP
not
will
sure.
probably just take the
Less
arrest
crime
and
while
everything.
they were
But
chasing
if
it. It's
CHP
probably they
takes it
take
and
the
then this guy
arrest
just gives
and
up,
everything.
they'll probably have
The
LAPD come
CHP
back.
takes
That's what
it.
makes it so
They
interesting,
just
right?
add
When
it
we're
and say
following
that
these
they're going to make sure
pursuits,
that guy gives up.
we're
The police
basically
department
watching it with our viewers unfold
following the
as it
pursuit, and
happens.
and
Still
I
so
said
many
all
different factors,
unfolds.
Mike, like you're saying. Who
It's
takes
all
over?
stripped,
Who
and they're
gets the
saying
suspect
who
once
takes
he's in
it over.
handcuffs?
Once the
And where
suspect
it goes
gets
from
in
there. So many
handcuffs, he'll give
variables
it
that are
up
still
sooner or later.
Yeah.
It happened 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It's
Where
unknown
will
at this
exit?
time when
And then,
he'll have it.
who
Right,
knows if we'll
and
go that
they
far,
know.
but in theory, we're headed west, and
they go
once we get through Agora
far in
Hills,
the
we'll be in
Biore.
Ventura County. So then
Once they
Ventura
get
County
through
take him,
that
and how's all that play
area,
out? It really depends on
the
kind of
county
what
area,
happens during the chase.
this can all play out.
I would say that at the
what
rate
happens
we're
during
going,
the change? They would say at the rate they would be going
crimes
on
happening during this
130
chase,
miles
if it
an
were to
hour.
just
You
simply
could
end,
lose
LAPD
control of
would
that
take
car.
it, and CHP probably wouldn't.
And
The
would
highway
actually drive
patrol
out the
probably
distance if
would
it is
not.
even in Ventura.
They would actually
and now
drive
there's a
out
second pursuit
that
going on.
county
So
area. There's a
LAPD
second pursuits
Foothill
going on.
Division has another
Yeah,
pursuit
Foothill
back
Division has another
near
pursuit.
Burbank.
Back
They're also chasing. They're calling it a group with a gun. So I don't know if there's
They're
more
taking
than one
that
person. That sounds
suspect
like a
would have
gang
done
unit that's
because the
in pursuit up
suspect
there.
is
So
eventually.
LAPD is definitely going to want to give this up to CHP as quickly as they can.
They want to
so
give.
they can get
They're
back
going
to
to
their
definitely want to give
town
this up
and
to
deal
the
with what's
CHP
going
to
on
take
over
over at the
there.
ML.
Yeah, you guys remember just a few weeks ago there were two
Just a few
pursuits
weeks
passing each
ago,
other.
just a few months ago, two pursuits were passing each
Remember,
other on the
Desmond, you had a
freeway.
shot of that. It was something.
They had
I
a
think it was
shot
a
of
first
that,
for you, wasn't it?
and there was something first that day.
It was a first, and
It was a
very
first.
LA for sure. Two of them on the 5.
I'm reading some closed
captions.
Sometimes if I turn it up, I wouldn't
Now
have
got two
words.
pursuits on with the World Series. I guess they're not Dodger fans out here. So
World Series.
westbound
The
101
Dodgers
through
played
Woodland
one
Hills.
time
That
ago
CHP officer we're here
in
still
October of this year,
attempting
2025.
to catch up at this
They're
point.
still
And there they
attempting
are,
to
right
catch up.
cue.
It was
So
earlier
now
on,
this
going in an
CHP
emergency
going into the
lane.
pursuit there.
The
Right
CHP
now,
didn't want to be in pursuit. Now they're in pursuit. The LAPD
up around 80
gave up. So he was around 80 miles an hour using left blinker. They saw 100 miles per hour.
Now that he's through traffic, we're not really seeing too much of the
They're not seeing too much of the crazy desperation to get from one lane to the other, or the right shoulder, or the center divider to squeeze by traffic. Just kind of sticking to the needle on the roadway, going around all other traffic. He's acting like he owns the road.
We've had instances in the past
63 miles an hour, for instance. He was about to speed up 70 miles an hour. He made it around the traffic. There was a four-door mid-size Nissan Versa. Moments ago, he was reaching speeds at around 90 miles an hour. No issues. Weaving in and out of traffic whatsoever. Priorities. Oh, it's due to rush hour. Commuters are acting like it's a holiday weekend. The holidays are coming up. Some prior contacts have not been reported stolen. Belongs to that suspect. They're calling CHP to be involved, and now the CHP is involved in that pursuit, and they're assuming how many units are in there.
The radio and the scanners
The radio and the scanners haven't said anything about hitting that car, or if they did, because sometimes it would be a really close call. They clipped the other car and was added to that one.
The airship or the ground units mentioned.
Yeah, I've not heard the airship. One mentioned.
Really,
as you can see,
there's like a
I
dust
thought he was
or
getting a 100
something, Mike.
miles an
You
hour.
saw that. That's why I thought
maybe
maybe
paint swap or something. I mean, that was
Paint
very,
swap,
very tight.
I'm not
right
sure.
there.
Probably
Wow, and you see, this is a pursuit
throughout the
taking
course of the
place.
chase. I mean, he just was desperate to get through that traffic.
He's desperate to get to that traffic.
Excuse me, unfortunately for everyone else, we've got some more open freeway speeds here, so it's going a lot faster, but
Going a lot faster.
This storage right here.
Yeah, so
That's to contend that Google Live pictures on the left-hand side, 70 miles an hour.
a lot more wide open.
With all that traffic, a lot of more wide open. The speed's still the same, basically, not really picking up that much.
I mean, this is 80 miles an hour.
And if he was to pick up that speed at 85 miles an hour, wow, that helicopter was coming out to give law enforcement some space. 86 miles an hour. CHP took over. They're talking here in about 85 miles an hour, almost 90 miles an hour. 75 miles an hour, going back down to 75 miles an hour. Wish they could do spice right now. There's going to be more action into this Calabasas area. Run along the 101 freeway as they get into the hill or village. You know, in the county. The guy wants to take it. CHP.
As long as they want. We can go all the way to the state line.
They're not going to discontinue it. They're not going to let that suspect get away. They'll be seeing how long the LAPD helicopter wants to be around in CHP airship. Air support.
H58 from Fullerton.
They've got an air support. Yeah, H58
from Fullerton.
That area coming up for that CHP.
By our 9 o'clock hour.
During the lead, that's taking the lead of that pursuit, traveling at 80 miles an hour. Those cars around, the suspect has got to wonder what's coming behind him. You can't control, the suspect cannot control that people in front of him. It's usually asked to do that. It was a homicide suspect. Maybe a month ago. I gotta look it up. They forced the guy to the shoulder. They set up spikes. That was a remarkable spike that they've probably ever seen. This pursuit has been going on for about the pursuit has been going on for about 20 minutes.
As aggressive as they are,
since the police started this chase, they're hearing that they're They're doing a lot, going about 80 miles an hour on the freeway. It's kind of frustrating, not able to see. They don't even know what they're
And
doing.
we've never heard. I don't know if the LAPD or the airship.
The windows are dark.
I mean, there was that brief mention of
they don't know.
Out the window at Roscoe on the 170, and that came out of
Throwing something out the window at Roscoe. That came out of the passenger side at 170 freeway.
Down the passenger window.
Long time ago.
It didn't ever seem like
half hour ago.
Distinction, and it's
that they could make that distinction. If they ever actually found anything over there, I know they went over there, but if they're not sure if they're actually able to get anything out of it. So here they are, CHP 101 northbound, 101 freeway, area.
Really making some progress here.
One of the densest parts of the city too, which also makes for what this driver might think is a quicker getaway, but as we know,
a quicker getaway. He thinks he can get away, but no.
They're not going to be giving
right behind him.
As far as
he will be giving it up.
We're setting services.
The state border.
Let's listen now.
Head on up to Oregon. CHP will be there the whole way behind you.
Yeah, they made their way through the entire valley, basically.
Yeah. I mean,
in a short amount of time.
And this was you could tell that at some point he was trying to figure out what he was going to do, because we're up and down the 170, we're off and on in Sun Valley, Valley Glen, North Hollywood, up and down the 170 back and forth, and then all of a sudden they just shot out west on the 101, and that's just kind of where we've been. We haven't stopped at all through that. As soon as we got onto that 101 at Tahunga there, he's really just let that be his move, and now we're almost out of LA County. A couple more miles and we'll be on the Ventura County line.
Yeah, pursuit of a DUI suspect. We're being told this driver may have a gun as well. It started in North Hollywood, ended up in Valley Glen, the 170 North, the 170 South, the 5 freeway for a little bit almost, then the 170 again, off at Tahunga, Sherman Oaks, Encino, and once he got on the 101 northbound, it kept going. And now, Mike, as we see here, Agoura Hills, Malibu area here, and very little traffic around him, and CHP not far behind.
Yeah, and Des, we said this is a great Nissan Sentra. That looks right to you?
Sentra or an Altima? I'm not sure. The Altima's the bigger, the full-size one, a little bit more powerful engine.
Newer model,
see if I get a text from my... Yeah, definitely a newer one. No question about that, but maybe still just a 4-cylinder engine, although we are up to just about 90 miles an hour now at this point, kind of on the upper end of the economy car spectrum, I would say. Maybe let's see if we can zoom in here. Yeah, definitely a Nissan, just can't quite tell if it's a Sentra or an Altima, the Sentra being the more economical of the two. As we widen now, you can see, I mean, we don't anticipate hitting any traffic now as we are just about into Ventura County. However, my pilot Dylan saying we could have some low cloud issues over by the Conejo grade. We'll see
if
the suspect
Dylan
goes that far. As we go by the Annenberg Wildlife Crossing right there, which will be opening in the next year. We've been definitely talking quite a bit about that, and the Caltrans work that's had the 101 closures for the last couple of years is pretty much complete at this point. So not going to have any construction issues out here. Not any ongoing projects that I'm aware of that would cause any big lane constrictions or any serious traffic here on a Friday evening. Most people that are headed to Ventura County already did that in the afternoon, head up there for the weekend. And so this is going to be pretty easy going for the suspect if they want to continue this as far as traffic conditions go. And here you can see the 3 CHP units that are on the ground. LAPD still has their helicopter overhead. It's going to take Fuller, the CHP's helicopter or fixed wing, whichever one, a long time to get up here since they're coming all the way from
They're in Maywood
Fullerton,
right now, Des.
Okay, yeah, I mean, and then, if we've got low clouds up ahead, it might end up being kind of, fruitless anyway for them. So, but, yeah, where is this guy headed after coming out of North Hollywood? Seems pretty aimless at this point, unless they're about to head up towards Santa Barbara or something, or have really no idea at this point. But not too often that we get pursuits headed up into Ventura County, and then we'll see how CHP's Ventura County is going to handle this, or if they want to get one of their helicopters involved, that they're even able to once we get to the West Valley. Again, we're not sure how low those clouds are on the other side of the hill, but up there against the mountains could be an issue for us if this continues.
Bigo. I'm an ex-Apple employee. The secret that Apple won't let you know: you haven't cleaned up your phone for 150.
If you're just joining us here on CBS LA at 8 on KCAL 9, we want to welcome you to an early edition. This is Susie Sell alongside Juan Fernandez, Mike Rogers at the desk, and you just heard Desmond Shaw and his crew in SkyCal. We've been watching this pursuit for about 20 minutes now. This is a pursuit of a DUI suspect, possibly with a gun. The CHP just taking over, and their want for this person is a man with a gun. So they're taking every precaution right now, but also not letting this go into tracking mode as the LAPD was chasing this entire time. Let's go over to Mike Rogers at the desk for just a second. Yep. Mike, I want to ask you about that. The CHP, when they take over, and the LAPD was not certainly going to tracking mode yet, the CHP probably not going to do that either.
Yeah, no, and it's the whole thing's been kind of interesting about this whole firearm thing. Nobody has really gotten a clear idea of why LAPD thinks there's a gun in the car. We've even called the LAPD and said, do you know why those officers think that? And they don't know right now. So it's really unclear where that bit all came from. But so this originally started as a DUI driver. We were listening to it, and then at some point they say the driver possibly has a gun. At no point did they go into tracking mode, which is unusual for a DUI suspect. DUI, obviously, as I've mentioned, is a very serious allegation. However, it is generally something that LAPD will track. And they just haven't this whole time. And it's potentially because of that bit with the gun, but no one's been really clear on why they think that. Even the CHP now that they've taken over is trying to sort that out and figure out where this gun thing came from. The LAPD helicopter, when they asked CHP to take over, they didn't even initially tell CHP this was DUI. They billed it to CHP as a man with a gun. So that's when they asked them to take over. Now CHP is back to this is a DUI suspect, possibly with a gun. So it's all very interesting, and it sounds like the sergeant for the West Valley station is trying to sort that out. But now it's going to be Camarillo's deal, as we or Moorpark, I should say, CHP, Ventura CHP, as we just now are crossing the county line into Ventura County. So those units will start to get in place. They'll do a swap out of the ones we've got. The West Valley units will go back to West Valley. The Ventura units will take over and will continue northbound on the 101. But for these units to continue to chase this, they're probably going to want to figure that out and figure out the gun thing. So it sounds like they're trying to sort that out with the LAPD and figure out why LAPD thinks this person has a gun, where that information came from, and all of that. I know, because I heard them call it out, they do have the license plate. It has not come back stolen. So in theory, you would assume that they have run the plate. They know who the registered owner is, which kind of goes back to my initial thought of potentially the LAPD units have dealt with this person before. Maybe LAPD knows who this guy is and knows that he is known to have a gun, and that's how the gun thing came into play. It's really difficult to kind of tell right now because there's not a lot of clarity on the gun.
And I'm wondering, Mike, maybe a ground unit saw something that may have looked like a gun. It could have been a reflection off a cell phone or something like that. So they're treating this. They're treating this as something a lot more serious than a DUI suspect out for a ride. And Desmond, I think we're getting our first real look from the front of the vehicle here, right?
Well, we're really trying here. It just hasn't been enough light on the freeway to be able to see inside, to see if we can see anyone in the passenger seat there. And all the tints around the vehicles. We're going to see a little bit of a movement there with the driver.
I don't think there's a passenger, though.
It doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, no, that's probably the best look we're getting right now, and I don't see anyone in the passenger seat. So unless he's chauffeuring someone in the back, it looks like it is just the suspect in there. And let's widen out right here. And you can see just how empty the freeway is now as we make our way into Thousand Oaks and coming up to the 23 freeway right here. So that will be another option but for the suspect, but they're sticking to the left lanes like, oh, I say that, and then he gets over. We'll see if they're going to stick with the 101 and head towards Western Ventura County or make a last-second move for the 23 that would take us towards Moorpark and Fillmore. And it looks like, they're going to stick with the northbound 101. So not too far away from the Oaks Mall and Moorpark Avenue, where a lot of people would be out on a Friday night in Thousand Oaks. But other than that, just sticking with the freeway, it is pretty empty out here. And I mean, I do kind of wonder if CHP might be interested in using a spike strip or something, just because the the traffic is so much lighter out here.
And position.
I'm back, guys. I was listening in. They were letting that speed move starting in the North Hollywood area. It was on the 5 freeway a little bit. And this is a Nissan Sentra Maxima Ultima, our first still at 85 miles an hour. Newer car. He was reaching speeds at 95 miles an hour. Low fog was coming up. I was right because I'm right at this point. I knew it. There was no construction.
It's interesting because earlier when we were doing this, the traffic really made him antsy.
Traffic conditions go,
surface streets,
and maybe
he was doing anything.
Maybe he's trying to make it all the way home.
West of like the 405,
even though the CHP was still following him, he was
going in and out. This is the closest call that we saw. Where
this was a close call, slow motion earlier on. This was earlier on. This was from about.
As soon as he got past all of this,
10 minutes ago,
has been very consistent. We've not seen wild.
He was driving very consistent.
Relatively the same.
We have not seen wild lane changes. Taking aggressive a little bit. And my final note thoughts. He was reaching speeds at about 102 miles per hour, 90 miles per hour at first. Generally stable. Charging what they were tracking out. There were 30 out of the charges that got suspect. Maybe.
And any way to know
going back down about 70 to 80 miles an hour, driving at about 75 miles per hour earlier on, half hour ago.
Yeah, Juan, that's
and known to have an objective weapon gun.
Now as we're getting
and as you can see, he's still at 80 miles an hour.
A few more miles, I'd say,
and a few more miles, and then 3 more miles before sooner or down.
Saying half that, about 1.5 miles before.
1.5 miles, they're going to have to get cut off because, they're going to have to get into consideration because there any aircraft, police aircraft, news helicopters, aircraft, they would broadcast the tape. Oh, it's online television. They don't want to get too aggressive. They're going to stay around. They're going to be close and not to give suspects any leash to get out of the car and run. Even they had time to give up. Put your hands up, get out of the car, walk right, follow the officers' instructions. You know how quick that definitely the suspect, whether it's going to play into that suspect's favor, and as you can see, they just continue that. They continue to cruise around Ventura County, 101 freeway, no sound, as long as they can. Low clouds are going to be coming up in about, in just a few, the low clouds are going to be coming up in a few minutes. Maybe in about 6 to 7 to 8 minutes, they're going to be coming up into low fog clouds. And now they're going to, wow.
So it's not like their airship has some sort of technology
like
that would allow them to fly through some low clouds
or marine layer conditions.
Hey Siri, my
phone is full. It's done with the advertisement. Get out of here.
Don't waste your money.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
95 miles an hour.
If they have are IFR equipped to go through. I'm thinking that.
Okay, 75 to 80 miles an hour. Still driving slow. He was driving slow at 100. He was driving fast at 100 miles an hour. Was slowing. He was driving fast at 95 miles an hour, 96 miles an hour. This pursuit has been going on for about 30 to 40 minutes. And as you can see, that's a low cloud in the fog. You can't see where you're broadcasting live. Now it's disappearing here. Now it's going to disappear on the news helicopters and the airships, the police helicopters. Now let's do that. Cloud layers, some thick fogs. It's cold in that season, time of winter.
Ground units have been on this chase the entire time.
They have been on this chase the entire time for about
but I noticed that there
45 minutes.
There were 4 units
actually. 4, 5, 6 units actually behind this chase. And I imagine the LAPD was on top of that. They were following that suspect for a little while. The CHP has been following it.
Not only a DUI suspect.
Yes, they have been following that suspect behind the entire time. Now the thick clouds and it's too foggy, and now it's a fog.
The CHP has turned around as well. So
now. Because of that fog,
Ventura County Sheriff area unit to come up.
Because of that cloud layers and that weather consistency of that fog,
going on at the same time.
Cloudy and foggy, and this is that's marine layers of fog.
The authorities,
not
they
to
know
the
who this
conditions. It
person
could
is.
be
They
like
actually
raining.
know the license
Technology
plate
that
and everything like that.
they're
So
not
maybe
going to
they'll
continue
catch up
much
with them
longer
later. But in
now.
the
That's what I'm
meantime,
saying.
join us for CBS
So in the
LA at 8
meantime,
for an
I want to
update on
thank
this
you.
news. For Ron Fernandez,
In the
live at
meantime,
Susie
thank
Suss
you
and Mike
guys for watching.
Rogers at
Check
the
out that
Delta
video
Desert
pops
Shaw
up
and Scoop
here.
in SkyCal. We'll
Have a
see you
great
shortly.
day, everybody.
Same goes
Happy
to cars
holidays, Merry
tonight.
Christmas,
Get all your
Happy New
bolts.
Year's, Happy New Year. Check out that video pops up. Happy New Year, everybody. See ya. Bye bye. See you in
Always
the
stay
next
in
video
sync with your
tomorrow.
business with the
Bye.
Quick6 mobile app.